Go. We are on live.
Good afternoon from Karlovy Vary, the Czech Republic. We are 10 minutes from the start of the 5th annual Mattoni Karlovy Vary Half Marathon, an IAAF Gold Label event owned and organized by RunCzech. Their president and founder is Karlo Kapalbo, and the race director today is Vasilov Skruvanovic. I'm Tracy Sundlin, and my co-host today is Jim Moberly of RunCzech.
Well, it is a beautiful day here in Karlovy Vary. Good day for racing, slightly overcast, not much wind. It looks like we could have a good race on our hands through a beautiful town.
Spectacular town, and the good news is this race wasn't yesterday when it was about 10 degrees Celsius warmer. Right now we're looking at about 15 degrees, and which is about 60 degrees Fahrenheit.
The runners are lined up at the starting gate and awaiting the gun in about 8 minutes.
Well, we have a spectacular race. It is an IAAF Gold Label race. It's one of 7 that RunCzech puts on, one of 7 in the Czech Republic, which is the greatest number of Gold Label races in any country in the world. There's only 42, I think, last year, and RunCzech has sort of led the way in taking our sport to the highest level possible in Europe.
Here's a little animation of the course. As you can see, it stays close to the river for the most part because Karlovy Vary is in a valley between very steep hills. So there are some hills on the course. It's not directly flat, but this allows most of it to be run without any steep grades.
The entire elevation goes only up about 100 feet, 35 meters throughout the course, up and down a few different places.
Yeah, it does that in several places. So it's not one of the faster courses, but it's certainly one of the most beautiful.
This is just what I, as an American, imagine old Europe is. And my God, it's just so beautiful. We were walking through it earlier today. It's just spectacular. That's part of our 32 invited elite level athletes from around the world. You'll meet a couple of them shortly. The favorite right now would be Shadrach Kimmening up top, wearing number 2 today.
Jiří Homolaj, number 11, is the top Czech favorite. He's done a 1:03 in Prague this year.
But understanding that if you want to beat him, you need to join him. He's spent 2.5 months each of the last 2 years training in Kenya.
He loves it down there, and he feels at home down there now.
This is our ladies' field. We got about 21 male athletes, 10 female internationals. In order to be a Gold Label race, you have to have athletes from at least 5 countries who have run either better than 1:01 for the men or 1:11 for the women on the half marathon, 2:10 for the men and the marathon, 2:28 for the women, or 28 flat for 10K and 32 flat for the women.
And that's in the last 36 months, so you can't have a time from 10 years ago.
You have to be fast. Here are 8 of our leading lights on the first line, joined by the rest of the top 32 there. We'll point them out as best we can as they zero in on them. The man with pace M, he's our pacer for the men. It's Timothy Camelli, a fine runner in his own right. He, in fact, will be running on June 3rd as a open competitor. Be his first time internationally competing, not just pacing. And his goal there is 61 minutes. So it's he's a stud. And he'll be running the Keski Budivista half marathon, one of RunCzech's events.
Well, here they're hoping to get under the course record, which is 1:01:01, I believe. And in order to do that, Timothy will have to take them out at a 1 hour, sub 1 hour, 1 minute pace for the first 15K at least.
For those that think in kilometers per mile, that's 2:53 per kilometer or 4:39 per mile. That will be the pace that they're setting on the men's side.
For the women, they've got a daunting task because the course record, and remember we said there are some hills in this course.
Yep.
The course record is 1:09:07, but that was set last year by Jocelyn Chepkoskai, who is now the new world record holder for the half marathon. She ran 1:04:52 last month in Prague.
Would you please repeat that time?
1:04:52.
That's a woman, everybody. It's staggering performance. And she debuted in Europe just a year ago today here, setting the course record of 1:09:06. Mind you, her coach tells me she's lost 4 kilos since then and is being a bit more focused in both her training and her competing.
Right now she's back in Kenya. She wanted to come back and defend her title, but unfortunately she is in the service, she's in the Army, and she has duties back home. And I imagine they will be sending her to London for the 10,000 or something because she certainly has the credentials now. The problem is you never know with Athletics Kenya who will get selected.
Well, just taking some peeks at that starting line there, that's Musab Hadout. He's from Morocco. He's certainly one of the favorites here. He was second at the Madrid Rock and Roll half marathon in April. He's run 1 hour and 19 seconds. He's in the middle of your picture in the neon right now.
We have 4 runners who have run under 1:01 already in their careers, so there's hope. There you see one of the RunCzech Racing bibs, which
the
is
woman smiling there on the left. That was one of our favorites too. Satume Asefa from Ethiopia. At 22, she's the youngest of our elite athletes. But she is one of 10 children, so she knows how to run. 8 brothers and 1 sister.
And she's probably main competition for Mercy Kibaris from Kenya. So it'll be another Kenyan-Ethiopian duel, we expect.
Now, yes, we've got 32 elite runners up there, but we're going to have about 4,000 total will run. That's followed a 3,500 family run that just finished taking place. Kids and their parents and non-competitive. Everybody gets a medal, though.
It's about 7,500 runners, competitors, in a town that only has 49,000 people. It's 1/7 of the entire population of Karlovy Vary, if you look at it that way.
Speaking of that, Karlovy Vary is the smallest town to have a gold label event in the entire world.
That's right, but certainly one of the prettiest.
You gotta come here, people. It's drop dead gorgeous, and you can't believe it.
The gun is up. Perhaps I should have said the horn is up, but that looked like a gun to me.
Well, we always have a backup. Now, mind you, you see those pace signs that are bobbing in the air. I've been involved in an awful lot of races around the world, and I am just tickled that the mayor of the town is pacing the 145 group. He's run 132. He thinks 145 will be a piece of cake. He just loves the fact that this event exists in this town. This is its 5th year, and I do not know a mayor anywhere else in the world that has paced a half marathon.
I don't either. I am a little surprised myself.
Look at that backdrop right there. We will try and give you the splits as we get them and see if they're staying on pace. As competitive as this field is, in talking to the athletes up front, we asked, well, you focused on the competition or you focused on time? And all of them came back and said time. And perhaps that's because the prize money here is very weighted, you know, to the time bonuses. You run a certain time, regardless of your place, you'll
have a good payday.
More than the two of us are making today.
Yes, yes.
And deservedly so.
We got breakfast this morning.
In the middle there, that's Jerzy, number 11. He's run the fastest half marathon by a Czech in 20 years. He ran 1:03:15 in the Prague half marathon 2 days after coming back from training 2.5 months in Kenya.
He was actually a little disappointed because he really wanted to get under 103. He wanted that 102 by his name. But I think he'll be going back to Kenya again. He still loves it.
Well, he said he learned how to run. That's a quote. And as you can see them coming down on the left is the colonnades. It's one of their 5 big spas here in Karlovy Vary. A spa, it's known as a spa town. Here's your group or your lead pack of women. Now those are cobbles, but they're pretty flat cobbles, so the footing will certainly be fine. There won't be any issues.
There's the crowd still crossing the start line. The 4,000 other competitors. And it's a nice night for running. It's cool enough. For a half marathon, 15 degrees shouldn't be a problem. The wind is a little
negligible.
Yeah, it's a little erratic, but I think it's not a big problem. There's Charles IV, the founder of Karlovy Vary, is running in the race. It looks
he's in a very senior age group.
Yeah, he's about 660 years old.
Living in California, I think 66 years is old for a city.
The town was founded by Charles IV, as I said, 660 years ago. And it has been active ever since, but it's been destroyed a couple of times with flooding and earthquakes and so on. So most of the buildings now are 18th or 19th century.
It was interesting on the tour that we took this morning when we get a pulled back view of the event. The most recent flood went up like 20 feet on the colonnades there.
Yeah.
So everything that you see was underwater. The little river that would be to the right of that shot,
the Tepla,
had grown over the trees on the far right there. That's the
Tepla.
That's the Tepla River.
And that last huge flood was in 1890.
I was young then. But
yes, so was I. But Karlovy Vary was already quite old.
You know, we mentioned this being a gold label race, and one of 7 that RunCzech puts on, the most of any organizer in the world. But let's not think that that is the entire focus of Carlo and RunCzech, not at all. They've got a campaign going. All runners are beautiful, and essentially welcoming and understanding this wonderful sport that we have. From the front to the back of the pack, everybody's there for exactly the same reasons, in their head, achieving something that they need to achieve that day or in their life, athletically or personally, and we need to find a place for that. The runners at the front are inspirational by their amazing ability. Got the people on the sides looking at them because they won't hear their footsteps when they go by. And though charity running has not reached Europe, except at the London Marathon, in the same way it's throughout the States, RunCzech has a strong charity running program. Here in this town, it's the SOS Children's Village is the primary charity, and they were thrilled that going into this race, they'd already raised 200,000 crowns for displaced and abused children in town here. It's one of 45 charities that RunCzech works with.
And RunCzech puts on a lot more events. In addition to the 7 gold label races, there's the junior marathon, there's the free runs, there's relays, and many other events that to get people involved, to get people running, to build the running community in the Czech Republic, such as there has never been.
As one of the founders of the Rock and Roll Marathon series, I'm certainly thrilled with the changes in the music and all, how we reached out to the people in the United States and the world. But I can tell you, Carlo kills us. He changed a culture of a whole country. People did not run, did not do road racing in this country. They do now. It's a center. It's viewed politically as an economic engine. It's viewed educationally. It's viewed by the health department. And this all started really with one man and RunCzech, the original Prague Marathon 20 years ago, and it now spread. And a remarkable story here. They'll have almost 90,000 participants this year in their 7 events. And some of them are truly innovative. All right, there you go. See Timothy leading that there with Pace M. Everybody else has got their name on their bib.
Unfortunately, they're not really staying with him.
Well, yell louder, and maybe they'll listen. Let's see if we can get. They should be close to 3 kilometers right now. There you go, 3 kilometers at 8:53. So they are 14 seconds down on the world record. Not the world, the course record of 1:01:01. So that's why Timothy is beckoning them. Come on, guys, it's time.
He's trying to do a job, and I would say he's succeeding. They're definitely under course record pace.
Now, there's your ladies pack.
Good group. There's Mercy running behind 2 other runners. I think that's
so Satume, I think, is in the blue and pink right there. F3. That's Yvonne Jelligot. Yvonne's got a 109.04 to her credit. That F1 is in the back, the longer stride. That is Mercy Cabarros. Mercy, by the way, is very disciplined. As she pointed out, she has to be. She has 3 kids, including 2 twins, one 8-year-old, 2 6-year-olds. She can only handle it by being organized. Her PR of 108.13 was set at altitude. And she won the Taipei Marathon earlier in December. And she made her Czech debut in the Prague Marathon 4 years ago when she finished 5th. So she's somewhat seasoned.
She was 3rd in Seoul this year in 2:26 and change. So she's in good kit right now.
And right to her right there, F5, that's Ayantu Gametru. She's only got a 1:10.26 time, but she was 2nd a year ago behind Joycelyn's course record. She's been running 4 years. Started running in school.
Wow, the town is almost empty. All the runners have gone by.
On one side and about to come back
Right.
relatively soon on the other. It's a somewhat of a 2-loop course,
Yeah.
or 1.5 loop course, taking advantage clearly of that beautiful downtown. Where they will go outside a little bit into the country.
Tam Tam Batugada, the Brazilian drummers, always entertaining at the start and finish of the marathons and the half marathons. They enjoy this. They come down from Germany.
So they're a RunCzech staple.
Pretty much, yes. Get the crowd and the runners excited.
Well, I saw some statistics somewhere. It's good to see that music is taking hold. Throughout their year, they have 133 musical bands on the course at the RunCzech races. And there's 7 races. So, not all rock and roll, but it's happening. Look at that beautiful building. The medal from the family run.
Right, some young spectators for the half marathon now.
And that family run is 3 kilometers. All right, so you can see them going out on one side, 3K. Now the guys are coming back on the other side. It looks like Timothy's got them moving. He is certainly paying attention. Let's see what he's looking at. We're 13:40 into the.
It should be approaching 5K soon. Should be past the 4. Those people on the other side are not moving that slowly. We haven't got to the back of the pack yet.
I personally like the out and back courses, and it's great when they recognize when they're seeing greatness come back on the other side of the road.
Sort of a built-in audience for the elite runners. Timothy checking his watch, 5K.
I have 14:34 on mine.
I'd have been a little bit.
So they picked up a little bit. They're only 9 seconds back off the
Yes.
course record.
Right.
Aid station.
If we can keep them going till 15K or so, then it's every man for himself.
So since we really didn't get a chance to meet those guys early on, let's just talk about that field and who we're looking at. Wearing number 2 with Shadrach on his chest. That's Shadrach Kimmening. People think he's the favorite.
Runners there.
All right, Stefano de la Rosa at that split was your leader. Oh no, that was at 7 minutes in the race. That was a while ago.
That was certainly not the 5K split. I don't know what that was.
7:32. Shadrach Kimmening, he's a relatively newcomer. He debuted internationally in Cardiff in October of 16 at 60 minutes and 53 seconds, and then had a breakthrough opportunity to run in Ras Al Khaimah. Took it, where he set his PR at 10K, 15K, and 20K on his way to a 1 hour and 7 seconds. He's new, and people are pretty high on him.
He's only 21 years old, so he could be a factor. His manager, I know, is really feeling that he's going to do well here.
Also in that men's group from Morocco, Musab Hadout. This is his Czech debut. I mentioned he was second at the Madrid Rock and Roll. He's been on the run for Morocco at both the World Juniors and on the World Cross Country team.
Here's a bit of a surprise. Mercy Kibarus, who's certainly one of the pre-race favorites, is having trouble hanging on to that group of leading women. She has dropped off of it. I would say she's about 8 meters back now. And someone, I can't see who it is.
F18 is, that's Robert Meach, who actually, you're looking for the lead woman. That's F3 is our lead woman right now. That's Yvonne Jeligat.
So it's still a Kenyan up front, but it's not Mercy Kibarus, which is what we would have expected.
I love the fact that Robert Meach is clearly trying to pace them and help them. Robert won the Czech National Half Marathon Championships a few weeks ago.
He could be trying to help himself if he figures they're going.
That's right. It's about his same PR.
Yes, very similar, very similar.
Back to that men's field there.
Philip's still trying to drag them through, and they're reluctant to go with him. I don't know why.
Well, because candidly, there's a lot of people there, and there's prize money based on place. There's all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, but as you said before, there are these time bonuses, and if you don't get the time, you don't get the bonus.
But when they start lining up next to each other, you get a little tight. They change their minds up there.
Evidently.
But in that group, number 5, Mark Carrier. Peter that you're looking at right now is Peter Lamuya. He's fresh from being 8th in the Kenyan National Cross Country Championships for the World Championships. Where 6 only qualify. But if you're 8th, that means you'd make every other cross country team in the world easily, if not win their championships. So he's a stud and a half.
And he's RunCzech Racing, so it'll be interesting to see how he does. You could see in that shot, that crane shot there, that Timothy has probably 12, 14 meters on the pack right now.
Also in that group up there, Mark Carrier, who to my mind is really one of the favorites. He won the Paris Marathon in 2015. He's run 2:05:49. He won Frankfurt last fall in 2:06:48. Finished 3rd in March in Seoul. He's really one of the world's premier marathon runners. Of course, this is a half marathon.
It is, but if he's fit.
So that's Mark right there.
Yeah.
He just went by. Wearing the name Donald is Donald Mite. At 21, he's the youngest elite guy in the race. This is only his second international race. He was fourth in Nice in April at 15K. I don't see him, though I expected to see him.
Well, there's 10 guys there. I think he may be there.
I sort of thought I'd see Serhei Lebed there from the Ukraine,
right.
A three-time Olympian at 5,000 meters and a 9-time European cross-country champion. But he's been dropped somewhere at the spas.
Back in the city, he's getting a drink of warm water from one of the spas. Going through the tunnel, they'll come out the other side and up the hill.
One thing that's pretty cool, when you put on races in the same course, every year the crowd on the course grows.
Yes.
And looking at the video from last year, it's much larger this year.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yes.
All right, there's Serhei Lebed
and
Jerzy Homolaj.
They're coming up the hill now, the leaders.
Second pack.
Timothy's still doing his job. I'm sure Jan.
Great crowd support.
I'm sure Jan is exhorting those guys to catch up to Timothy. That's the biggest hill in the course, I think. And when they come by it on the second time, they're getting very close to the finish.
Now, Timothy is working hard to help them. These guys aren't helping themselves. Everybody who breaks 101 in that group will get 2,000 extra euros. The winner, if he also breaks 1 hour and 30 seconds, will get an extra 5,000 euros. That's on top of 3,000 euros for first, 1,500 for second, 1,000 for third. For men and women, that is Mercy, and Mercy is not having the best of days.
Mercy,
so Yvonne Jeligot is leading Setuma.
That is a typical sight to see an Ethiopian following a Kenyan waiting for an opportunity to pass.
Now, F6, that's Marion Limo. This is her Czech debut, but she's run 7 times in Europe. She's finished second 3 times, third 3 times, and fourth once. But on paper, at 1:10:47, she should be a bit behind. But races make times, and that's why we run them. And let's see what happens today, as this group of 3 seems to have broken apart already. Now, Setuma has run 2:24 and 1:08:23.
So she's definitely...
She's strong, she's fast. She looked very relaxed in the hotel. But Yvonne Jeligot, who nobody's been talking about, and who has only run 1:09:04, but is a member of the RunCzech racing team.
That's true. And you know, it's just so common to see the Ethiopian with good credentials following the Kenyan, waiting till the last 2 or 3K and then going.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's been working for years, from Meritz Yifter on.
Yes.
Look how relaxed Setuma looks.
Even Bekele did that to Wilson Kipsang.
And Meseret Dafar and Turn Estababa.
Yeah.
Turn it up.
Genzebi doesn't tend to run that way, though. She tends to go. It's down to 2, it looks like.
As Yvonne seems to be being dropped. But mind you, we have a long way to go in this race. We're only about 25 minutes into it at this juncture.
RunCzech Racing, RunCzech Racing, RunCzech Racing.
All right, so tell us about RunCzech Racing, which is actually an absolutely remarkable program put together by Carlo and his team.
Yes. Well, it originally was an idea that came from Zane Branson. And he has had a long-standing relationship here in Prague, and even started his company here. But it's an opportunity for...
We're doing a little throwback here to
flashback
to the family run. You do not see the lead pack here anymore.
No.
Back to RunCzech Racing.
RunCzech Racing got its start a few years ago, as I said, with Zane. And unfortunately, Zane had a heart attack and died about 2 years ago now. But Ikaika and Davor have continued the program, working with Carlo, working with RunCzech. It's an opportunity for young, up-and-coming runners from Kenya, but also from other countries, to come to Europe to race, to work as pacemen, to work in smaller races, to build their confidence, to build their credentials so that they can move on up.
Essentially, it is a running club underneath the banner of RunCzech.
Right.
They support these athletes slightly. They make sure they have the right training, the right coaching, the right opportunities, and it's working. It's working remarkably well. If Jocelyn Shepkowski now holds the world record, shocked people.
And she was RunCzech Racing, and now she is, a world star. So, as you said, it's working.
And it's doing right. It's giving people tremendous opportunities to grow both as athletes, and when they're finished competing, if they've been properly exposed to the world, they go back home, and that is they're remarkable role models. They're starting businesses of themselves. Athletics is this academic and social tool, and RunCzech Racing is supporting that.
And very, very much an economic tool in Kenya, as you well know. People go back there with their prize money. They build houses, but they also build schools. They help their village. They help their family. It's much more important to them than it is to the Europeans or the Americans in terms of making a change in their environment.
Think about an American basketball player. You pick a name. If they've won $50,000 for the year, are they building a school for 20?
No.
This is their mindset, and you see it time and time again. We have a split screen now with the women on the right. That's Yvonne Jelagat in the all blue of Kenya, and Situme Asefa in the blue and pink. Now the screen is all men.
We should be nearing 10K. There it is.
10K at 29:03 or 29:02. I'm glad to see that the clock on the screen is now matching my clock.
So there are only a couple of seconds by my reckoning here.
Correct.
They're at about a 1:01:10 pace right now, which is very close, of course, to the course record. And if somebody has a bit of a kick in them, they could certainly get that course record. But
so it looks like Timothy's gone. Pace setting duty's done at 10K.
It does look that way. Anyway, to get back to RunCzech Racing, they have an apartment here in Prague where they can come, spend a couple of weeks, get in a couple of races in Europe, maybe pacemaking duties or racing if they're better, equipped to do so, and then head back home and continue their training. They're also supported, the program is supported by Adidas. They get equipment. And so it's a start for them. It's a chance for these athletes in Kenya, and there are thousands of them. It's a chance for some of the younger ones, some of the up-and-coming ones, to make that next step to international racing. And as you mentioned before, it certainly paid off for Jocelyn.
Now, that's just one of the programs. You mentioned the junior marathon. I think that's pretty cool too. So it's not the junior marathon program. All right, so we have Edwin leading right now. So that's Edwin Kiplagat.
This is his debut.
He knows what it's like to run fast. He paced Jocelyn to her world record in Prague. So this is his first chance as a reward. He was now given the opportunity to run and compete. And now he's taking it to him.
11 kilometers in 31:50.
And so you see Donald back there and Evans and Kimmening. So there's Shadrach, one of the favorites. Evans, that's Evans Chariot. He trains with Wilson Chabet. He lives in Eldoret. 3-time Amsterdam Marathon champ, a Honolulu Marathon champ, I think twice. And he's been 2nd, 3rd, 5th, and 5th at Boston. And he's training Evans Chariot there. Donald, that's Donald Mite. He's the youngest one in the field. We talked about him before. He won a race in Nice. He was 4th in Nice in April.
Well, you know, you mentioned Edwin paced Jocelyn, so he's a 104 half marathoner.
Oh.
Guess who's there? Timothy's still there. The kids, maybe he waited for them a little bit because now they're running together again. That's great.
But this junior marathon program,
That's
it's for high school students alone, I understand. They have 13 different events, races around the country in each region. And the winners qualify to run at the Prague Marathon.
Right.
But they're not running the full marathon. In fact, it is a 10-person relay team. So they're each running 4K. And so it's the entire team that gets to go. And there's about 3,000 total participants in all the regional races. And what a great start, what a great opportunity to go to Prague and be a part of one of the world's great marathons.
And it's high school students, you know, and that's an age when kids tend to kind of drift away from athletics or from any kind of sport, and it keeps them interested.
And right now, Czech Republic is not strong in distance running. As we mentioned earlier, Jerzy Homolaj runs 1:03:15, and that's the fastest time in 20 years.
It's a little disappointing because there is the history, the tradition of Emil Zadopek, a man
the best ever,
who won 3 gold medals in the 52 Olympics, in the 5,000, the 10,000, and the marathon in one Olympics. No one's ever been able to do that before or since. And, you know, this great icon, there are statues of him several places in the Czech Republic, but they kind of drifted away from that. unfortunately, and now it's coming back. And I should mention that Emil Zatopek, when Carlo wanted to start the Prague Marathon, the man he went to in Prague was Emil Zatopek.
That's after he was having drinks with Galindo Bordin, his fellow Italian. Only Carlo was a volleyball player. Galindo was the Olympic marathon champion. And they said, well, let's start one of these things here. And they said, well, we got to call Emil. As we're seeing the break right now with Satume, Asefa, taking off from Yvonne Jeligat.
Yvonne doesn't look finished yet, but she seems to be, she's definitely drifting back.
Two different styles, but boy, they're both so beautiful running.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It's just like poetry in motion to watch people that have that natural God-given ability.
So I suspect that the Kenyan girl slowed down a little bit, because I'm surprised that early in the race that Satomi would go.
She may want that.
Some bonus money, yeah.
For her, if she wins and runs 108.30 or better,
yeah,
and we have not had splits on them.
No.
108.30 or better, she wins an extra 5,000 euros. Now remember, this is a country where the average annual income is $500.
That's 10 years worth right there.
And that's just a bonus. You get $3,000 just for winning the race as well. She runs under 109. It's 2,000 euros. Under 110, 1,000 euros. Under 110.30, 500 euros. So, pedal to the metal, Satume.
Go for it. Still runners coming down. There's the 145. That's the mayor's banner, isn't it? Yep, there he is.
Wait, he can't be there. He's supposed to be running.
This was a pre-race interview that was done earlier in the day.
Actually, he's the mayor. He can do anything he wants in town.
He could say he's going to run 145. He could be like certain politicians in the U.S. He could say one thing and do something completely different.
Oh, you have to bring that up.
I didn't mention any names. I just said certain politicians. There's a lot of politicians.
Look at this city. You all have to. We shouldn't just talk about this city. So, Carlo and RunCzech, it started in Prague, but as I said, his vision is to change the country, and so he took essentially what was in Prague, the Prague Marathon, the Prague Half Marathon, and unlike in the States, when they say a Prague Marathon, it is only a marathon. Yes, they have the kids run. When they have the Prague Half Marathon, it's only the half marathon. So then he took it to other parts of the country. So here we are in Karlovy Vary. That's in the northwest part of the country. It's always the third weekend in May. In the first weekend in June.
In 2 weeks is České Budějovice in the south.
Another similar set of numbers. About 4,000 and a half. These are sold out events. Plus another 2,500, 3,000 in the family run. Then they come down to June 23rd, that third or fourth weekend, depending on the year.
And that's Olmos.
Which is in the east. So the Mattoni Olmos half marathon. Then they come back to Prague for a unique thing. It's their Birel Prague Grand Prix. Now, Birel, by the way, everybody, that's their non-alcoholic beer.
Right. That's a non-alcoholic brand of the Pilsner Urquell people, which is perhaps one of the more famous Czech beers.
And they run a 5,000 and a 10,000 that weekend. They're going to have about 6,800 in the 10,000 and another 2,000 in the 5,000 meters. So those are 2 road races.
The 5,000 is a women's race.
Oh, it's only women,
Yes.
except for a few smart men.
Yeah.
And then they finish up the year, that 3rd weekend in September, at the Ústí nad Labem.
Ústí nad Labem, yeah,
Labem.
that's in the north. That's in the, almost on the German border, very close.
So Carlo has taken the sport throughout the country. These are all magnificently beautiful cities. Anybody that's watching this has got to say, I got to go there.
Yeah, almost is a World Heritage Site, UNESCO World Heritage Site. You're looking at Karlovy Vary, how beautiful that is. Ústí nad Labem is in a magnificent setting. It was an industrial town, very much an industrial town. There's a chemical plant and so on. But the setting is magnificent with the Labem, which you might know better as the Elbe River running
Correct.
through that valley. It's really a lovely area.
Well, let's go back to Karlovy Vary. Get it tongue-tied at times. You're talking about the other city having an industrial background.
Yeah,
This
Ústí.
is Spa Central. I mean, they have 22 hot healing springs. It's the famous spring gushing water. We saw them today, 15 meters into the air, 50 feet. Like at 110 degrees. I mean, it was totally cool. But people come from all over the world for spa treatments from anywhere from 3 weeks down to just a couple of days. And it's just a fascinating, beautiful city that the likes of which you will never see in America, and you're not going to see in large parts of the world. This is old Europe at its best.
Yeah, that spa history has drawn Russians, it's drawn Germans, it's drawn Slovakians. People come from many miles, hundreds of miles, in some cases thousands of miles, to this fairly small town, 49,000 people.
Now, that's for the hot springs. The other thing that this place is known for, other than our half marathon, is the film festival, the Karlovy Vary Film Festival. After Cannes, it's like the leading film festival in Europe.
It is one of them. I would say maybe Berlin or Venice, but certainly it's right up there. And you look at the list of...
Men's race seems to be breaking apart. That may be close to 15K there. I'm not sure.
It should be. I think that's
So
15K
if that was
back there.
So that would be 43:23 thereabouts.
So there's still only 8 seconds. They're 8 seconds or so under the course record pace. But that's not that much if anybody's got a little power at the end. It's certainly broken up the pack. You have 2 men chasing Timothy.
Evans is one of them, and Edwin.
Edwin is the other. Well, as we said, Edwin ran a 1:04 in Prague with Jocelyn. So you got 2 RunCzech guys and a RunCzech pacer.
And this is a surprise. Satume is not a surprise.
No.
This is a big surprise.
RunCzech Racing is making its presence felt very much again. And Evans looks good to me.
Evans only has run 1:03.18.
He looks much better than that to me. He looks like a 1 hour.
And Edwin, this is his debut. And you've got 4 guys back there that have run under 60 flat.
Right.
That are getting crushed.
Yeah. Well, they've run under.
I love this stuff.
That's why we have races. You know, that's why you don't just phone it in and say, my PR is XXX.
Yeah, but, you know, look.
They're coming back.
They're not letting them go.
They're coming back.
There's a break. I don't know why they let them go to get the break.
Maybe Timothy slowed down a little bit, and the other guys stayed with him.
And look at Evans. Look at Evans. Look how nice he looks.
Yeah, he looks good.
2 different styles. One shorter, closer to the ground. Another one higher.
Yeah, Edwin definitely looks like a road runner, doesn't he? He's got that small stride, that low stride, I should say.
Timothy saying, come on, guys. Now, this race is about 88% Czech and 12% international.
Right.
But even amongst the Czechs, you know, 60% are coming from outside of this immediate area. And as Carlos pointed out, this is, as we've learned all around the world, this sport and sports in general, participatory sports, are great economic engines. There's you got Yvonne, who is, I would have thought would have been further back by now,
but
given what
still
transpired.
About 20, 25 meters.
Oh, more than that.
Yeah.
But Satume
looks good. Looks like she's concentrating and working well.
It would sure be nice to see a split. We could tell everybody just how close she is to what bonus.
Well, 15K for the women should be coming up in about a minute and a half or 2.
So, is that Kimmening? No, that's Wilfred. So Wilfred is back into this game.
And Timothy still there, the pacemaker. Maybe he's thinking about finishing.
Which he's allowed to do.
Yes.
So the new player in the back there is Wilfred Kimete. He's a former winner of the Zane Branson Memorial 15K at 43:57 at 1,400 meters of altitude. He's also run 27:54 on the track in Nairobi, also at our altitude. He was the he works for the prison system there in Kenya, and he was the 2017 prison champ at 5,000 meters. He's married with kids, and he trains with one of the remarkable stories, Zane Robertson of New Zealand, who's basically moved to Kenya and adopted their ways and become one of the world's great distance runners himself. Ran under 60 minutes this year.
Yes.
And is a leader of folks down in Kenya.
Zane and Jake, the 2 brothers, are both 60-minute half marathoners now.
There's a casino in town, and they would have gladly taken your money on these 3. You're picking these 3.
All four if you include the pacemaker.
Being in this race without the other guys.
Right.
And but we got something happening here. We got a race on. And look at those crowds. It's fantastic.
It's a little overcast, which is nice for the runners. Perhaps not as pretty for the spectators, but it's still a nice day. Nice day to be running a half marathon instead of watching it.
All right. I think Timothy is now racing. now I think this is Shadrach Kimmening. He's trying to get back into this game too. And this happens. They have bad spots, bad patches, side stitches, whatever else. Then they come back, and we've had some marvelous stories over the years. This is not the perfect example of architecture in Karlovy Vary. That is one of 2 buildings built by the Russians
During
in the early
Soviet
70s.
era.
And, you know, that's an interesting story. Many, many Russians own property here. It's a great tourist spot for them. But you're looking at a town and a country in recovery. For 50 years, from up until 1989, the communists and the Russians, Soviets, controlled the economy and everything in the region. And whereas prior to World War II, Czechoslovakia then was the second strongest economy in Europe behind Germany. It is now on great recovery and has been. The economy grows by 2.8% a year now versus Europe's 1%. And average per capita incomes are growing. Only 80% of the European Union average, but the Czech Republic is a happening place. But they don't forget the old. The Czech Republic has the greatest number of castles per capita of any country in the world. Now take that fact. How cool. All right, in the picture right there, that's Donald Mite of Kenya. He's the youngest elite person in the race. Here comes one of the favored Moroccans, Musab Hadout.
But I think we saw just a minute ago Evans really making a break. And there it is. Evans' chariot, 1:03.18.
So he is running PR pace by about 2 minutes right now.
He's definitely in new territory. And he's only got 10 minutes to go. He's got about 3K to go. Edwin is trying to get back to him, it looks like, but
this is Evans's race to lose at this point.
he's back in town, back in the center along the Tepla River. Running very near our broadcast area.
Oh, we just went by. In the background, you can see the Grand Hotel pub. Now, many of our listeners will not recognize that name. They will recognize it when they look closer. That is the hotel that was the Hotel Silvestri or something in Casino Royale with Roger...
No, Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig, not Roger Craig, the football player and founder of Rock and Roll San Jose. So we have been running on part of the Casino Royale course,
right,
or stage.
Right.
They had some of their car things, and they had the
casino
scenes shot right here on the course of the Karlovy.
There's usually by himself. I don't know what that means in terms of pace, but
that's the best Czech athlete at this time. He's going to begin to move towards the track for the summer, but and that right there is Alexander Sitkovsky. He's from the Ukraine. He's run 2:09.11.
1:03:49 is his half marathon time, so I would say his marathon time's a bit better.
Absolutely. Well, Satume running the tangents. This is a course with a lot of turns.
Yes.
So running the tangents can be very much to one's advantage, both competitively, time-wise, and bonus-wise. Now, we're talking about her competition, and there you see Yvonne back about 40 meters.
Well, I don't think she's lost ground, though, in the last kilometer or so. She even looks a little better if you look at her. She looks like she may be putting on a bit of an attempt to get back up there.
But one of the other competitions that's going on in here, we've got the RunCzech League, Running League.
Right.
And it really is focused on the citizen runners there, but it involves all of the RunCzech events, all 7 of them. They'll score your best 3 results-wise. There are all 4 of them now. There's Wilfred. There's Evans.
They caught Evans.
There's Timothy.
He had a very substantial lead, but they got him.
Fantastic. As I said, I thought it was Evans' race to lose then.
Yeah, and it may be. It looks like you were right.
And there's that's Edwin.
Edwin
in the
back, and he's catching.
So these are all.
They're all back together again. Timothy's still there.
But what the RunCzech has done with this RunCzech Running League is they've created a unique algorithm. So it's age and sex graded competitions, and they break it down even into different job categories.
Yeah.
So you can see how you're doing against all the other accountants, and it's a very cool thing that involves the entire series.
It has a point system similar to a decathlon points, and so a woman might do just as well as a man in that sense. A woman attorney might be the best attorney in the country.
And it's finding ways to include as opposed to exclude folks.
Yeah.
Taking our sport to the people. Now, Carlo, because of all these unique things that he's done with RunCzech, was recently named the chairman of the IAAF's Road Racing Commission. So he's really perhaps the leader of road racing now for the world. It's Carlo Capalbo, former volleyball player, junior volleyball player for Italy, who created RunCzech and this event. And we got a race on. It's 4 together. They're all going for it. We got about 3 minutes to go, 2.5 minutes to go, 2 minutes to go.
They got to come up that hill again that we talked about earlier after they come out of this tunnel. And then it's every man for himself.
Well, I think it became every man for themselves a little while ago.
Oh, did it? I thought they were cooperating.
Remember, this is sort of a 1.5 loop course, so you can see some of the very back end people being passed now.
Being lapped. Here they come.
All right, so
coming up the hill.
That's Wilfred Kimite. He's the Kenyan prison champ, 5,000. 27:54 on the track at altitude. There's Edwin Kiplagat, the debut, the pacer for Joycelyn. Timothy Camelli, who was supposed to have his debut as a competitor in a couple of weeks, and he's going to do it now. And then you have Evans Chariot, who trains with, well, what just is happening? Is it Wilfred?
It is. It is Wilfred. He's kept fairly quiet early on, but now he's leading the pack.
A recent graduate from college there. He won the Zane Branson Memorial 15K at 43:57. Former winner there. It's all everybody. Look at this.
Course record?
4 people. Course record by all 4 of them. Oh my God.
That's exciting.
Oh my God.
A real fine race.
Oh my God. And Wilfred just changed his life. He just won 8,000 euros.
And Timothy moved back into the non-pacemaking category with this one. He did his job and then some.
Look at that excitement. And here comes the favorite, Shadrach Kimmening. And he's only a few seconds off the course record himself.
Yeah.
In 5th. Donald Mite, the youngest competitor. This is his second international race. Musab Hadout, just behind him in the neon.
Better than I thought. I thought he was further back.
But wow, what
good finish.
A race.
Good finish. Wonderful.
So that's 7 or 8 on this course, under 102.30.
Uh-oh.
Oh, and now we got a women's race on. Ho, ho, ho.
I told you she looked like she was feeling better.
Oh, now Satumi responds.
Yep.
But Yvonne's back and alive. Look at her legs. Foot strike is light.
Upper body looks nice, looks good, yes. Nice low arm carriage.
Oh, look at this. Is there going to be a response by Satume? Oy vey. Well, it ain't over till it's over, so let's understand that.
Yeah, well, we saw that.
We got about a mile to go right now. But this is a big move. She knows she only has a mile to go, and she's putting her pedal to the metal.
I hope she knows, because if not, she's in for a big surprise.
As somebody who can't run worth a darn, it is so beautiful to watch somebody who can.
Yeah.
It's such a gift.
You watch the Kenyans, the Ethiopians, any of the East African elites, it's a beautiful sight. Look at that.
So, where it looked like Satume was going to have a walk home, I want to hear the story.
Maybe she had a side stitch or something, because she definitely had problems there, drop back, and then all of a sudden she started looking good again.
Look at this. She's got 30 meters on Satumi right now. Oh wait, no, I got mixed up. She has like 60 meters on Satume. I think I mistook a guy.
Oh, okay.
That was running up.
Okay. Here comes Yurji. He's not getting.
I mistook.
Yurji. She's going to catch him.
This is not Yurji's day.
No, definitely not. She's going to get him. Watch it, Homolach. She's coming for you.
But let's not. Jerzy doing some great stuff. Had a great race a couple weeks ago. He's changing the face. He's determined to change the face of Czech.
He's doing his
long-distance
part.
running.
He is definitely doing his part.
But you have bad days.
Yep.
And it's how you deal with those bad days.
I think Mary Catani proved that last year in London when she had a bad day. Finished ninth. She didn't get selected for the Olympics. Then she came back this year and broke the world record.
The women's world record.
Well, you know, it's been a women's year so far as far
I understand.
as
I say
yes.
I'm not. It's too easy to forget that Paula Radcliffe has run under 2:16, ran 2:15 and 30 or 20 or whatever it is.
2:15:25.
All right. And
Mary ran 2:17:01.
you're covering this distance. She has pacemakers.
The women today didn't have any pacemakers.
No, I'm talking about Mary
Oh, okay.
in London.
Yeah.
A wonderful performance, a great athlete.
Mary did not have pacemakers in London. It was a women's only race.
Women pacemakers. Some studs through the halfway.
For halfway. One of her training partners ran with.
Well, I wouldn't have bet this one a few minutes ago.
1:07. She's still got the hill to climb.
Well, we got 2 minutes at this point. Does she have a chance?
The way she's running, I say yes.
I just don't know where it is
Yeah,
distance-wise.
it's hard to tell how far she is, but she's over the hill now. And she's, you know,
Well, it looks
she's
looks
moving.
like our leaders are certainly excited.
Yeah.
Our lead motorcycle. She's happy, no matter what.
This could be under 109, folks. Which would be a surprise also. Yes, it will be. I'm going to say it will be low 108.
Well, if she's under 108.30, she just won 5,000 euros.
Well, why not?
That's the time bonus, plus 3,000 for winning.
There she goes.
Ho!
This is
Yes,
big time.
sir, Bob.
Big time
Nice
day.
job, baby.
Big day, big day.
Oh!
108.21 or thereabouts, and she's finished. Get to her, folks. Let's help her.
You're talking about somebody who had a PR of 109.04.
So we got another woman under 109.
So 108.41, that's a course record. And Satumi
She ran well. She ran
runs
very
wonderfully because she ran her PR in Berlin, which was a ridiculously fast course. And this is not a ridiculously fast
well.
course.
Not at all. You've seen it.
But it's a nice day.
It was a good day
Weather-wise.
for it. Good weather.
Not necessarily for Jerzy.
Usually had a bad day, but you know that happens.
That's the way it works.
That happens.
There's a bunch of other guys that had bad days too.
That's why we run races.
And Mercy had a bad day.
Yeah, that's why we run races.
But we had a couple of folks that had some absolutely spectacular days. All right, this is Robert.
Second check.
This is Robert Meach.
Yeah, second
He's
check.
Second Czech. He won the Czech National Half Marathon Championships in Pardubice.
Pardubice.
He's from Brno.
Brno.
And he trains with Robert Stefko's training group.
Stefko is the is the holder of the Czech. Thank you.
And he's on the podium for the women.
Interview with the winning man coming up.
Wilfred Kimitej u mikrofonu České televize. Wilfred, how difficult was the finish?
The finish, we were remaining 4. So was taking only 1 kilometer to go, and it was very hard to break the others. So, but the only good thing that I had is the speed.
What about the time? How are you satisfied with the time you did?
Yeah, I'm very happy to beat my PP from 62.08 to 60 plus, 60, around 60. So I'm very happy to break that 2 minutes.
Thank you very much and congratulations.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
So this is our third woman, I think, unless we missed something while it was going on.
Right.
That's Marion Limo, maintaining her record of being in the top 3. We haven't seen Ayantu Gamecho the entire time.
And here she comes. She's about just under 112.
A very, very nice young lady.
111.50 or thereabouts.
And she trains with Satume, even though they run for 2 different groups.
Right.
But they train together in Ethiopia, in Addis Ababa.
Thank you. So who we have coming up, the first woman?
Yvonne, how difficult was this race for you?
Wow, it's just a God's grace. So wonderful.
Did you feel that Setume has cried at the end?
No, we were together until 7K. I see the pace is too slow, and then I start to put up, and the leader from Ethiopia pushing up the 10K. So I set my base behind, and then I come with my base. You know, my manager told me that just set your base and you go with that base. Yeah.
And what about the time? It's a track record.
Just I don't know. I don't know even. Just I am happy, and I thank God and my coach. Yeah, I thank my coach so much.
Okay, thank you very much and congratulations.
Thank you.
My guess is not only does she not know that about the course record, she's going to be really surprised when they hand her an extra 5,000 euros
maybe
for the time bonus.
Maybe her manager, Devor Sevilla, won't tell her. But now she ran very well.
So I think this is Mercy.
Yes. Not a good day for her.
Followed by Pauline. So Pauline Nieru, she was second in the half marathons in both Paris and Madrid. Winner in Warsaw in 14. Her PB is 109.06. This is Olha Kotowska. She was third in 13 and 7th in 15 here. And she was 33rd in the Rio Olympic Marathon.
She's from the Ukraine. 114.20 or thereabouts.
Still waiting to see who will be our top Czech woman.
That might be a while. You know,
I think my guess is 3 or 4 minutes.
Yes. The 2 top Czech women in the race are Ivana Sekharova and Petra Kaminkova. And they're both very good runners, but they're both in their 40s. Here's Petra now.
Here's Petra. So Petra Kaminkova has won 42 Czech Republic national championships, most recently in April for the half marathon. and she and her husband run a restaurant near Olomouc.
Yes. That's kind of her home race. This is Petra's home race. I mean, this is Ivana's home race. But
Ivana has won this, actually holds the record, the Czech record for this event.
yes.
At 1:17:31, and the local girl, she teaches and coaches grammar school children. She ran in the London Olympic Marathon, and she holds the Czech record, as I said, for this half marathon.
It's hard to tell what kind of pace Petra is at right now, if she has a chance at that 1:17. It was 1:17:31, I believe you told me.
He impresses me. Jerzy impresses me.
He's a nice guy, he is. And he's certainly working at it.
But fine, he has just run 5 minutes slower than he ran a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
He's clearly has to be disappointed, and he's carrying himself and dealing, with grace and class. That's Ivana.
And we don't know where
The
Petra
quote, local
is
girl.
in relation to Ivana.
They seem to, according to the press conference, have this competition between them. Neither would say what their strategy was for this race.
No, well, as I started to say, Petra's 44 years old. And so, there's this natural slowing that occurs when you've been running that long and that many races. And here she comes down the hill. She's not going to get the record.
Nope. But now they have a separate set of, they have a separate bonus structure. They also have which they will have missed on the bonuses. But she's going to win 12,000 Czech crowns, 8,000 for second, 4,000 for third. But she's clearly the fastest restaurateur in the Czech Republic.
And she'll take that money home to Olmos and help pay the bills for the little restaurant. They have a very tiny little place near their apartment where they, people sit there and have a beer in the evening, have a little barbecue, and it's a seasonal thing. She got under 1:18, so that's not too bad considering. And here comes Ivana. I don't think Ivana was expecting to beat her today. She'll be around close to 1:19.
This lady represented the Czech Republic in the Olympic Games in the marathon.
In 2012.
She may be past, her competitive prime, but that's one of the great Czech women in Czech running. Very cool. Hats off to her.
Well, and as you mentioned, I think she's a teacher, and she
has a whole bunch of kids that were competing in the family run.
Yep.
Had a whole bunch of kids out there.
She coaches track.
She doesn't seem to be quite as happy as Diana there.
No. And then comes the mass.
All runners are beautiful. They're taken care of brilliantly along the course, taken care of brilliantly leading up to. It's a cool little packet pickup mini expo. Just what a wonderful town. You see them out eating all day. and visiting the shops and doing their tourism stuff.
Now, as you mentioned, they're taken care of on the course. There are 15 aid stations on the course, small ones. But only every 1.5 kilometers, there's some aid available. So no one is more than a minute or two away from being serviced if there is a problem.
Today's it's a spectacular day for running. You know, I've never been here before. Whoever's listening, you got to come to the Czech Republic.
Please, please.
I've been in almost 50 countries and had no idea what to expect and blown away. Here we have our award ceremony. That's our pacer, Tim Camelli, running his first competitive race ever and running under 61 minutes.
On a course that you would not think he would do
No
that.
way. This is Edwin Kiplagat. He paced Jocelyn. And now that's his first race as a major competitor.
And the winner.
And the winner, Wilfred Kimite. He's going to take a nice check back to his wife in Kenya.
To the family.
But a huge PR, over 2 minutes. That's like close to a half mile. Who's presenting the awards? Is that the vice mayor?
It may be. I think I didn't see.
Because the mayor's still running.
The mayor's out there for 145. And we should be hearing there's some of the Bohemian Glass I mentioned to you, I think, yesterday.
I love Art Crystal, and you guys got to come here and see the beautiful stuff throughout the town. If only I could run. I'll just have to buy it now.
These are all unique pieces that are signed. You know, they're not factory made at all.
No. Got that little. Does he get a car?
No, he gets a big key. Volkswagen is a sponsor all year round, and they're a very good sponsor. And they help assure the prize money and all of the perks for the race. But there is no car involved.
I don't know if Wilfred knows that yet.
Well, we're waiting for the big car. It hasn't arrived. We got the big key, but not the big car.
Kenya National Anthem.
Yes. Not surprising with 3 Kenyans. Good shot of that finish. Yes.
RunCzech takes care of every detail. They switched out Timothy's number from pace men to his bib number. But did you see that wonderful wonderful sportsmanship. In so many sports, we don't see that. In running, we always do. They just beat each other up for an hour, and then they're all happy for each other, and they're congratulating each other, and it's genuine. I know that we'd watch our pro basketball players in the United States. They'd be grousing about who did something wrong.
Now you still see some very good runners coming across under an hour and a half for half marathon.
It's better than 7 minutes a mile.
Yeah.
You can't drive that fast in
most
Karlovy
cities.
Vary.
Most cities you can't drive that fast.
Right. That's probably your third Czech woman.
Yeah, I'm not sure who that is.
And I saw her in the expo.
Okay. You remember the blondes, is that it?
It's very little I remember in my life with old timers, but well, we'll be seeing people finish for the next 2.5 hours probably, but we'll be leaving shortly to go to telecast. We'll tune into ice hockey.
Yes. After the women's awards here.
That's Marion Limo. She's now run 8 times in Europe, and she's finished in the top 3, 7 of them. Satume Asefa, one of our favorites, just misses her PR. From Ethiopia, the youngest of 10 children. Parents are farmers. She's run 2:24 for the full marathon. And now our winner, Yvonne Jelliget. Huge PR.
A course record.
Course record. Huge PR. Satume also broke the course record.
Yes.
Under 109.
And it was no wussy sort of course record when you consider who set it and who she defeated in doing it.
At 109.
07.
07, which is 5:16 a mile, 3:16 a kilometer. That is flying, and these two ladies crushed it.
Yes.
Some very special running. We will see them a lot of places, and I'll bet you we see the top 3, the top 4 guys. They just made a name for themselves.
Well, you know, we've had Perez Chepchirchir, the former world record holder. We have Jocelyn, the current world record holder. We've had Mary Katani. We've had Viola Chepchumba, who ran 105 twice in the Czech Republic. So the women tend to come here more than the top men. Wonderful finish for Yvonne. Another RunCzech story.
Is she a RunCzech athlete?
Yes, she is.
Oh, I did not know that. Right. It's a RunCzech running club. Doing good for the sport and having a good time doing it.
Well, I think that's it for us. Tracy, what do you think?
Jim, it was an absolute great thrill to work this event with you and to be here in Karlovy Vary. The Mattoni Karlovy Vary half marathon, 5th annual. What a great event, what a great city, what a great country.
I think Carlo should be happy today. 2 course records, beautiful crowd, wonderful day for everybody and for the city.
And that's what an IAAF gold label event looks like. And this is what an IAAF gold labeled city looks like.
They should have that for cities. Well, they have the UNESCO heritage sites and cities. And a couple of these Czech races are held in those kinds of cities, Olmos, for example. Congratulations, folks. You're in a great race. Okay.
Now, you know, you can start to register for all these RunCzech events now. Next year's race, May 19th, 2018. Same course, same beautiful city, same crystal, same spas.
Start getting your airline reservations now.
And entries are cheap here.
Yeah.
They're like, if you enter early, it's like $20. Can't do that in the United States. It'd be 3 times that for at least.
Congratulations.
We should see the award ceremony now for the Czech athletes.
Thank you, and as the sun sinks slowly in the west, we see the award ceremony for the top Czech athletes, top 3 men and top 3 women. Probably a little disappointed in the times, but not in the places.
Ghana. Sikirova. And now we have Petra
Kaminkova
and Jerzy
Pomalac.
Robert Meach. And I don't know who the other 2 are.
Sorry,
And that is Carlo Capalbo giving them their awards right now. It's interesting. Didn't present the awards for the international athletes. This is where his love is. It's RunCzech. It's taking our sport to the Czech Republic.
Good
Every
point.
corner
Good
of
point.
it. He started this sitting around drinking with Chalindo Bordin, the Italian Olympic marathon champion, Boston marathon champion.
23 years ago. Well, 24 probably when they actually got the idea.
He was a former volleyball player, a high school, a national junior team volleyball player in Italy.
And now he's...
And they got graduate degree at Berkeley in California. Was living in Prague doing high-tech work, and had this epiphany and changed the sport. Changed running in the Czech Republic.
And in Central Europe. I think you'll see over the next few years some of his thoughts and ideas as he tries to move into other areas.
And I know he's a newer voice in road running internationally, and I know he and I believe that he can do great things for other countries by example, and I look forward to helping him.
Good, and we're at a point where it's needed.
Absolutely.
The sport needs a revamping and a retooling to move forward, to continue to grow, to continue to influence people around the world.
And it's not just at the front of the race. It's the back of the race. And I love the fact that we were talking about they wanted to set a course record, but we were watching two great races.
Right.
Coming and going, in and out, pacers, non-pacers, dying, coming back. And then you turn around, oh my God, look how fast they ran.
Yeah.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Absolutely. And now the Czech
national anthem.
Next to the Tepla River in Karlovy Vary, founded perhaps judiciously by Charles IV, who really is considered the father of Czechoslovakia and the Czech Republic and Bohemia.
And Karlovy Vary is the sister city to a bunch of cities, including the Carlsbad, California, where I lived. I had no idea until we saw the sign. But we have a great race, the Carlsbad 5000 there.
Yes.
And we have a great race, the Mattoni Karlovy Vary half marathon here. What a cool day. What a great day. And the weather was cool.
Yeah, the weather was good. The weather cooperated very nicely.
Look at that, everybody. You want to come here.
Bring your husband, bring your wife, bring your kids.
Something for everybody.
We got a family run. We got a half marathon.
We got a spa, lots of them.
We got great Czech beer.
Even better, Czech Crystal.
Czech Crystal if you're a fan.
And everybody's heard of Prague. We're only an hour away from Prague, by the most beautiful road through beautiful country, right by us. Great
A couple of castles along the way up on the hill.
beer factory. One of the bigger ones I've ever seen.
Krušovice.
Now, before we sign off, tell about Budavista and Budweiser.
Well, České Budějovice is the home of Budweiser, and it is a national treasure. It's actually supported by the government, and we're off the air.